Good morning and welcome to Thriving in the Vine from St. Elizabeth of Hungary Episcopal Church, our devotional series in this season of Lent. Today is the fifth Thursday in Lent, and our excerpt today is the following. For some odd reason, the reading from John 10, verses 19 through 42, puts me in mind of one of my mother's old comedy records. After a hard day's work at a nursing home, lifting and caring for folks who very often didn't care much for her, my mother would go down into the basement of our house to wash laundry, have a sip, and listen to old Mom's Mabley or Pigmeat Markham on an old record player. My mother enjoyed washing clothes on her Wringer washing machine. 7 children produced mountains of dirty clothes. But my mother saw to it that we were spotless. We had no money for anything new, so the second-hand clothes that had been selected with great care were well maintained. So well, in fact, that they always looked new. My siblings and I would listen through the floor vents to the grown-up humor that made her laugh. My mother had little to laugh about, but the country humor of the black folks who'd been through what she'd been through gave her the relief she needed from the daily struggle of trying to feed, clothe, and house 7 children on her own. Is you is or is you ain't who you say you is, the comedian would say. The question was always asked by someone who by rights should have recognized their own people. So the Jews gathered around him and said, "How long will you keep us in suspense? Is you is or is you ain't that Christ? Just go on and tell us already." But Jesus, like one of my mother's comedians, does not answer the way the listeners would like. Instead, he tells them a story. In this story, he illustrates that who he is actually a two-way street, requiring that the listener recognize the voice of the shepherd. From those same floor vents, we would hear my mother's prayers. She would pray for our safety and for our well-being, and she'd pray that we would never forget that we were children of God. Is you is or is you ain't who you say you are. Today's devotion was written by Dr. Bertice Berry from Christ Church, Savannah.